this raw content. Now this HTML page has turned this entire data into one single string. And inside that string, we are telling the compiler that look for the list handler. So it's looking for this list handler, and once it finds this list handler, it's going to take this featured list variable and it's going to place that featured list variable inside this list handler. And now this thing actually connects this JSON file through this JavaScript, through this server, and it connects this JSON file. It connects this JSON file with this HTML template through this JavaScript file. Now we are ready to send our file to our visitor or our user. And similarly, we need to use the status code of 200 and include the content type. And our content type should be an HTML text, HTML. I guess I haven't made any sort of mistakes. Oh, okay, I should erase this off. Now, now you're ready to send in the data. Response end and HTML. And I guess our script is pretty much ready, but we need to run that and we need to test it. And finally, I will show you something that I will do inside this HTML template, but it's a really simple one. So let me save this. Let me get back to my terminal. Let me clear this off. And then all I need to do is to get inside this desktop web, and I guess this will be JS. Now, oh, okay. So now I need to run this simple server. Node simple server.js. Our server is running successfully and it's running on port 3000. Let's bring up the browser. Let's use localhost. Let's call in. As you can see, I'm actually calling the home page. I guess there is a problem. File system. Oh, okay. So as you can see, my node is actually throwing, after I call in the page from this server using my browser, after I press enter, my node is throwing me some sort of error. So it's telling me that file system, which should be file system, is not something that's defined. File system, that's how Node actually throws error. Reference error, file system is not defined. And you can find that on simpleserver.js file and on line 10. So where is it? This is the simpleserver.js and I'm on line 10, as you can see. So here's the mistake that I made. Let's save this. Let's clear the screen. Let's rerun the server. Then let's reload this page. Here you go, and it's running successfully. But if we inspect this page, you'll see something unusual. That is, you have got the header, the meta char set, UTF-8, the title, and we have got everything. We have written that by ourselves inside this HTML template. Then if we get back to this page and inspect further, and inside this body, you have got header. Did we write the header? Yes, we have written the header, and this header contains the featured post, as you can see. Then again, there's something that we did not write. And what is that? Let's head over to this div element that's bringing up this entire list of titles. So let's maximize this, and inside this div element, as you can see clearly, and our browser is actually showing us that it has got something like an unordered list. And if we click on it, inside this unordered list, if I increase the size like this, inside this unordered list, you see that I have got all the 5 titles printed out and encapsulated inside this list li tags or li elements. But did we include that inside our HTML template? No, we did not. We just included this list handler, and we have tricked our browser to think that it's actually included inside this HTML element. But we are doing all those, we're actually doing all this dirty stuff inside this simple server script. But our browser is thinking that there is some sort of unordered list that we have written inside our featured posts HTML template. So if it's so, I mean, if you can trick your browser like this, then you can also trick it even further. Let me show you how to do that. So this is a really simple one. So let me first take note of the unordered list, because that's being included inside this HTML template. And this unordered list, if you'll go back to this browser, this unordered list has got a class name of featured list, and we added that class name inside this simple server script. So let's copy this class name. Now we're going to do some fun stuff in here, but it's really simple. We're going to just add a style, and inside the style, all we are going to do is to change. We have this bullet points. We are now going to change these bullet points into circles. These are filled bullet points, but we want bullet points that are just circles, not filled. So we want to do that using, I guess you use that list style, and what we are going to do is to include circle. But you see, inside this HTML template, I mean, if the browser knew by itself, then it would not have found anything called the featured list class. Nothing exists as featured list. It will only find something called featured. But because we are tricking the browser to think that some sort of unordered list exists with the class, with the attribute, with the class name called featured list, and we can clearly see that we are successful in tricking our browser. Our browser is telling us that there is some sort of unordered list called featured list. So we can include that style inside this HTML template. Let's save this. Let's rerun the server. Let's get back to the browser. Let's refresh the page. Where did I just... And here we go. If we inspect what's going on behind the scenes, as you can also see, the change has actually occurred. If we open up the head element, we see that there is something called the style tag that's being used. I'm showing you this because it's not a recommended way to include your styles inside the head element. This is not the recommended approach. You should create a separate style sheet and use the link attribute, link tag, to call that style sheet onto your HTML template. You should use that style sheet to organize all your styles into one CSS file. You shouldn't do this, but I'm just showing you this because I'm just showing you the possibility of using CSS along with the HTML template that actually does not contain any sort of content, because we are providing the content and the element using our simple server script. So you can do a lot of stuff with it. You can play around. You should actually play around and do this yourself. You should include other style. Then I would actually recommend you to create your own style sheet. You just need to go back to your project folder, then right click on it, new from template, and then click on CSS template, and then include that CSS file just by using this link tag. This is just that if you don't remember how to use the link tag, then this href tag, you will have to include the name of the CSS file. Like if you have included something, if you have created a CSS template called, or CSS file called posts.css, then you include it like this. Then you tell the browser that you are going to use this as a style sheet. You do that. I guess I forgot. It shouldn't be. Okay, this is the rel, and this should be the style sheet. Okay, I didn't forget. Nonetheless, you should do this to tell your browser that this should be interpreted as a CSS file, not like an HTML file, neither like a text file. So that's how you can do that. But you should play around with all this stuff, create your own blog, and I'll be seeing you in the next example where we will be working with real life databases, and we will see how to include our data from a database, retrieved from a database, and to include that inside our HTML template through our script. So until then, salam. So I will see you in the next episode. So stay tuned.